Hi there guys, welcome to my sewing space. Today I have a fun tutorial for you, which is going to be the boxy pouch that you can see here. This is a super useful one, and the thing I love about it the most is that you can get a lot of free motion quilting practice out of it. So if you're confident, you can have the free motion quilting design with a contrast thread outside. If you are not, we can just use the back side, which is printed fabrics, and it's using the same colored thread. So you can make this out of 2 fat quarters. It's just so much fun. I had a lot of fun practicing with different designs. Basically, if you are not so proud of your free motion quilting, which is often very normal when you're actually just beginning and then you're trying to just get a lot of practice, this is a really good project. So you can see it's on the inside instead. See? This one, so you can hide it all the inside part. On the outside, you can't really see much of the free motion quilting. Whereas this one, the inside is going to be a fun print right there. So let's get to it. So if you are new to the channel, please click subscribe. I would love to make more tutorials like this. If you like this tutorial, make sure you click the like button somewhere inside the video. I'll be happy to make more of this kind of video in the future. So let's get to making these. So for this project, what you will need is 2 pieces of fabrics, and this is a fat quarter. We're going to be making 2 pouches with 2 fat quarters. So basically, this is one of them is going to be the inside part, and one of them is going to be the outer part. Now, the reason I'm actually picking this 2 fabric is because it has great contrast, which means you can practice on the solid side, and also you have the printed side, which is the one that you can use as an outer fabric should your free motion quilting didn't turn out as what you wanted. And I've also picked a thread that is going to be matching to the outer fabric. Now the reason for this is that now you have a contrast, so when you sew or practice on the solid side, you can clearly see your free motion quilting stitches. But at the same time, the back is going to be almost invisible. So if it didn't turn out as pretty as you want, then you can actually use this one as the outer fabric, and you can still make use of it even though you are just practicing with your free motion quilting. You will also need some clips, and you'll also need 2 zippers since we are making 2 boxy pouch. Alright. So now what we are going to do is actually baste these 2 fabric together. So we have a batting as well, just forgot. So the size is also a fat quarter. So I'm just going to baste that together. Now I like to use cotton batting. This is either cotton batting or bamboo batting. One thing is because it's thin, and it's easy to practice on this one because it's just sticky enough to the fabric, and sometimes if it's small pieces like this, I don't even bother to baste. So I'm just going to put that on top. So if the polyester batting, you'll find that it's a bit slippery rather than the cotton batting. So for this one, I'm just going to just flatten everything out. You can baste it with a spray baste, or you can also baste it with pins. But for free motion quilting, especially for practicing, I recommend you do a spray basting. Now I won't spray it right here, but I will do that, and then we'll go to the machine and we'll start practicing our free motion quilting motif, and then we come back here to start making the bag. Now, just because I forgot, you may also need a cotton webbing like this. So this is for the handle, if you want to make a handle. So you can have 2 of these, that's the size like that. So this one is about 12 inch for each one. So when you fold it later, you will have something that you can make as a bracelet, right? Alright, so I'm actually ready to go and quilt. So I've already set up my machine with free motion quilting foot on. I have the bobbin, which is the same color thread as the top thread, which is going to match our outer piece. And then I'm going to start practicing on this solid side so that I can actually see my quilting motif or quilting design that I'm actually going to be doing, okay? So I'm going to get you closer to that. I'm going to do a little bit of practice. I think I'm going to go with some zigzag and also some, I don't know, maybe feathers. So there'll be 2 pieces. So you get 2 bags out of this. You can either mark a line in the middle and you can make 2 different designs, or you can just practice with one single design and have a look at which one turns out well. Alright. Right, so I'm going to get ready. I'm going to wear my free motion quilting glove. So I really recommend you to use this one if you're a beginner, or even if you're not. This really makes it easy for you to grip onto the fabric while moving it. This is just a cheap motorcycle one, I think. You can get a real good one for the free motion quilting as well. So basically you can start anywhere. I like to start at the corner and finish off all the other way to the other corners. That way I can just see what I'm doing. Okay, I'm just picking up the bottom thread, bobbin up. Okay, and then just going to start. Basically, you're kind of creating another pattern on top of the solid signs, because we can actually clearly see all of the stitches with the contrast thread. But on the back, it's going to be almost invisible. So if it didn't turn out well, that's okay, because you're practicing and you can still use these pieces, especially on the back, and it's more forgiving. So I'm just going to continue and finish this off. I'll see you at the table later when it's finished, all done. Alright, so now I'm actually I've completed the free motion quilting. So I did 2 of them because I was getting bored with this one, and I actually did this one. So if you wanted to do 2 of these, you might also want to make a, like in the center. So this is the 22-inch fat quarter and this is the 18-inch. So you basically want to have the 22-inch and you divide it into 2. So I just folded it and just make a mark like that, so that I have roughly the areas where I'm going to put a different quilting on the other side and the other one on the other side. So basically I practice doing the zigzag one and also the loop, the double loop. And now I'm going to cut it into 2 because we're going to make 2 different pouch. So I'm just going to take my ruler. Now at this stage, you probably want to just remove some of the one that you don't like as well. Like you can make it different sizes. So I have actually chosen to use 10 inches zip, which means that's going to be perfectly across this side. We're going to make a boxy this way. And another one is 9 3/4. So if you're using a smaller one, you probably can have a 9-inch width. So you can just remove some of the ones that you don't like. Just gonna cut that in half. Right. I'm going to show you the one that I'm actually going to be making with this one, and then you can make the same one with this piece as well. So I kind of like this design, so I'm going to use this one as the outer part and this one as the inner of the pouch. As you can see, you can hardly see. It's very forgiving on this side. So even though if you mess up, it's okay. You can still use the piece. And this side here, I'm going to use the outer part. So basically, I'm going to have something like that, a pouch. And this one, I'm going to have a pouch that looks like that. So let's do that. So I'm just going to trim this off so that we have all clear edges. So I'm going to put all the details of the measurements on the blog so you can check that out. So now this one measures about 16.5 inches and this one measures about 10 inches. Now I'm going to take my zipper, my 10-inch zipper. Now what we're going to do is actually going to piece this one to one of the edges, right? Now we right sides together, so if this is going to be the outer piece and this is the right side of the zipper, so basically you have the right side of the zipper facing down. Now I'm going to sew onto the zipper. So basically I've put on my zipper foot. The point of this is that so that you can get the needle as close to that zipper teeth. But I'm not going to get really close to that. I'm just going to leave about 1/4 of an inch from that teeth. So I'm just going to sew all the way to the other edge. You want to go slow because it's quite thick. Now as I reach the head of the zipper, I am just going to make sure my needle is down and pick up and just remove that head away. Right. So basically now you have the zipper on the other side, and we're going to put the zipper on to this side here right now. So basically you want to go and get, this is the right side of the zipper and this is the right side of the fabric or the outer part, and we're just going to fold that like that, and then we're going to put a clip there, and again we're going to sew the zipper onto place. So I'm just going to put a clip right there. So making sure that this is all aligned so that you don't have a straight kind of fold. I'm going to do that. And right there. So now I'm going to sew all the way to the other edge. Now I'm going to open the zip a little bit so that it makes it easier for me to actually sew this down together. So when you open the zip, you can just have that piece right there. And I'm just going to put my feet right there, and I'm just going to eyeball my 1/4 inch away from the teeth. And sew all the way down. But when you reach that to that zipper, you can either pull it back up like so that you have a flat and straight line to the edges. And we're going to continue doing that all the way. Okay. Now we've got the zipper on. So basically you have the zipper. We want to make it a little bit tidy by zigzagging these edges here, because this edge is not going to be covered. So we can just zigzag the edge. And also we're going to put it down to the, we're going to top stitch it down. So what I'm going to do now is actually switch my foot to a walking foot. Now this walking foot is good for this purpose because it's all thick layers, and because I'm going to go through the zippers, and these zippers are pretty thick, so I just want it to actually feed itself through. So I'm going to use a walking foot to do that. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is actually remove, open up the zipper. I'm going to open up all the way up, and working from this side up, I'm just going to close it a little bit. I'm going to stitch a zigzag all the way to the other edge. So you can close it a little bit to just get started, and then so I'm going to put a zigzag stitch on the machine, and then I'm just going to stitch down all the edges. Now that I've got it up there, I'm just going to push all the way back. Okay. So then you have something that looks like that. So basically now you have a zigzag stitches on this end that's going to lightly kind of like remove this phrase. So we're going to cut this phrase later, and then it's going to avoid some more phrase coming, right? And then we're going to do the other side, the same thing too. So I'm going to turn that around. So with the right side up on the front, right? So you have something that looks like that now. What I'm going to do is top stitch that. So you want the zip to be flat, like so. And then we are going to stop stitch really close to that, just to make sure that this part here is just folded right there, right so. And then we're going to stitch that down. So I'm going to use a normal stitch for this, a straight stitch. So I'm going to put the zipper right there, and I'm just going to top stitch that. Nice. That head there. Right. So you want to make sure that you have space so that you can actually just sew that all the way in. So the same goes with the other side. And top stitch that down, making sure that you're not double sewing onto your back. Okay, so I'm just going to do that. Okay, once I've got to a place that I think I can move my zipper head away, so I'm just going to pull that out so you can have that one. I'll separate that now. Now just sewing inside this hole so that I don't overlap on others. Just make sure that you don't do that. Now that I've got that ready, I'm just going to take it out. So you can actually go ahead, go this way as well. It might be easier for you to do that too. So now that I've got that, you've got something that looks like that. Now we're going to, so this is the top part, this is the outer part. We're going to turn it around, close the zipper. Now we have something that looks like that. Basically, we want to get the zipper to the center, so you want to measure that. Folding it half and making a mark right there, and then you're going to put your zipper head right over at your folded edge there. So now you know that you are in the center. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to clip all these edges. Right, so basically now that you have the edges, the centers like that, what we're going to do now, we have all the clips, and we're going to put the cotton tape so that we can make a handle right inside on the head right here. So we want to put it on the zipper head right here, not on this side but on this side. And then this side as well, you can also pin, you can also clip it down. Basically what we're going to do is going to sew all the way right here. Be careful at the zipper. If you're using a plastic zipper, it should be fine, but if you're using metal zipper like me, just go with the hand crank instead of just pushing it through with your foot, because it's very dangerous. Your needle can actually break at any point when you're actually sewing over the metal zipper. So I'm going to cut my cotton tape to the size I'm going to use. So that is 12 inches. So here's my cotton tape, which I've cut into 12 inches. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to slit it inside, having it folded in half like this. So you have a folded in half like this, and the raw edges is on this side. And you want to put it and slit inside there, right in the middle. So you want to make sure that it is in the middle of that zipper, right so. So we are going to clip that in place. Before doing that, I want to actually just open the zipper a little bit, like that. And then I'm just going to put the clip. I'm just going to remove this a little bit. So this is a bit of a mess. Right. So once you've got that in the middle, I want you to kind of clip it in place so that we can sew over it. It's going to be very, very thick right there. You just want to make sure you're careful with it. I'm going to sew in half an inch inside. So when you are at the metal zipper, I recommend you using the hand crank instead of pushing it through with your foot, because you don't want to break any needles. Basically, if you find that it cannot be turned, you just want to wiggle it around a little bit so that you miss the zipper teeth. So you're kind of like playing around at the zipper teeth around there. Once you've passed that zipper teeth, it's okay for you to actually just move on with your normal sewing. So basically, I'm just going to complete that right at the corner there. You don't need to backstitch at the end because we're going to box that corners, and you won't need to actually backstitch that because it's going to be taken off anyway. So once you've got that, you've got all the stitch line on that side, you can, for now, do a zigzag stitch all the way. Now you must be careful again at the zipper teeth. That can be a little dangerous. And then do the other side as well. For the other side, I want you to do the same. About a half an inch in. And again, you don't have to do the back stitch. And just go ahead and sew that down. Now when you reach the teeth, again, use your hand crank just to make sure that you are avoiding those teeth. Once you got away from that, you can continue sewing all the way to the end. Okay. Now I'm going to do a zigzag right now. So I'm going to turn my machine to a zigzag stitch, and I'm just going to zigzag all the stitch at this edge. Okay, once you've got that, you've already sewn the zigzag stitch at there, and then you got the other side zigzag stitch as well, and also the straight line stitches. What I'm going to do now is actually trim those off. So you can use the scissors, non-fabric scissors, so that you can actually cut the zip away. And also we're going to start boxing the edges, right? So what we're going to do is going to trim that up first. So what I'm going to do is use my scissor and kind of like slowly just get all the way closest to the zigzag stitches. I'm just going to remove all the frames. And cut the zipper away as well. So Alright, so there you have it. So now you have a nicely cut there. What I'm going to do now is we are going to mark the corners for boxing. Now at this stage you also want to open your zipper a little bit more. So I'm just going to do that. Oh, I did kind of like leave it too small. Okay, so I'm just going to open that zip a little bit bigger. Yep, so you got something like that. And then we're going to mark the corner. I'm going to measure 1/4 inch from this edge, from this sewing line, and then 1¼ inch. I'm going to measure 1/4. I'm going to make a mark there, and then 1/4, 1/4, and 1¼ So I'm just going to make that. So now you have one of the squares right there. You want to do it all for all the 4 corners, and then we're going to cut it out. Now you want to make sure that you measure from this line right here, and this one from the bottom, because this one is a folded line, whereas this one is going to be the place where we start our corners, right? Because this, if you measure from this side, you're going to be out about a ½ inch, the seams. So that's what we're supposed to do. So now we're going to cut it out. So basically you're going to cut it all the way out from here. So that's done. Now you can see that it's starting to come together. So what you're going to do is now you want to just mix it box like that, and this side right here we want to just press like that to the back. So this one you don't want to do it like this, you want to do it like this, so it's like just following how it's easily folded like that. And we are going to pin this, clip this, and then we're going to sew ½ inch away from the seam again, just to secure that. Now this time you want to do a reverse stitches right at the corners, and then we're going to zigzag it again, and then we're almost done. So we do that for all of the corners, and then we're almost done. So let's go to the machine and do that. So I've got all the corners boxed, so you can see it's coming together. So basically now I am just going to, using this face side up, this side, so that you can see the seams are going to be folded the right way. I'm going to just sew that ½ inch away from that, starting with some, okay, I'm just going to set that machine. Now I'm going to start with some reverse stitches as well, just to make sure that the corners will be secured. Now because I'm working corner by corner, what I'm going to do is going to zigzag stitch each corner as well as I go, so that I don't have to come back at the corners. So now that you've got all that, you can actually trim a little bit of the thread off. So just make it neat. You can also trim off the edges if it's far away from your zigzag stitches, just to make sure that there is less fraying. So the closer you get to the zigzag stitches, the better, because then you get less fraying. So I don't really mind having this inside, because really honestly I don't even look at inside, but now it has a pretty inside because it's printed fabrics. I love inside that is as beautiful, but it's not going to be like linings because you still have some raw edges, slightly raw edges, but it's not as bad and it's quicker to do this way. Right, so now that we've done it, we're going to turn it all around and then just going to neaten up everything. Just push all the corners in, out. It's coming out together nicely. Just that, and then there, there, the last corner there. Just neaten everything. Oh, isn't that cute? That is adorable. So you have your finished boxy pouch, so that you can actually fill in with a lot of stuff because it's very roomy and it's super cute. So you can also have the handle right there. So that's the handle for you just to hold it anywhere, like it's a wristlet. Alright, I guess that's it for the tutorial. I hope you do love the tutorial and you make some. So if you do make some, tag me, send me a photo through emails, or just even comment down below. You say you made it and how you feel about it. So it's very useful. I love mine and hopefully you love yours too. Alright, that's it. See you in the next video. Bye bye. So if you like this tutorial, make sure you click the like button down there and click subscribe to the channel. I will be making more of this kind of tutorial in the near future. So hope you enjoy that.